Religion, The Real Matrix, the book based on African spirituality and mythology from ancient Kemet or Egypt. Written by author Heru Ifangbemi, the book shows that all Western religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, plagiarize from African spiritual systems to come up with their religions. Buy the book on Amazon. Link is in the description box. Let's go! Promote your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News. Hit me, Sam Ant, at dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. dlsmediainc1@gmail.com. Let's go.
Uncensored podcast. Yeah. Let's jump into the stories today, man, because I want to talk about IceT. He put out something, and he's been warning people a lot over the last, few years about interviews and podcasts. But the other day, he put out another public service announcements to all artists, athletes, actors doing interviews on podcasts. And here's what he said. Artists, public service, doing interviews can be risky if you don't know what you're doing. They will talk to you for hours hoping you say one thing that can twist and hype up for clicks. Unfortunately, most podcasts have now devolved to the BS. Just saying. Bold statement.
Yeah.
Let's unpack it. What you think?
All right, well, here's the thing. I agree with him, right? But I'm going to give a little pushback real quick. Because unfortunately, we do podcasts. We got into the game wanting to give real information, valuable information to the people, things that weren't disseminated that we saw. We've seen a lot of bullshit, so we wanted to give it to you different. Mm-hmm. And we saw that people don't want to hear that shit.
Nope.
They don't want to hear that shit. They want the drama. They want the blood. They want the BS. Whether they admit it or not, whether they put in your comments that they don't like it, they the same ones put it in the next video, and the next video, and the one after that, and after that, and after that. They love it. This is why the shade rooms. This is why the TMZs. This is why the Hollywood Unlocks. This is why some of your blog sites that give you some of this toxic behavior that'll show you a full-out brawl, but then underneath it put our name doesn't condone violence. Bullshit, you could pushing it every day, can flourish and continue to grow. Because people like yourself, IceT, because I don't think you don't follow any of these blog sites, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you feed into it too. They feed into the nonsense, they feed into the bullshit, they feed into the blood, and what are people going to do if all they do is feed into the bullshit? They're going to feed them, they're going to give it to them. This is what people are making money on. So here at our podcast, and I'm not going to be too long, when I'm about to throw it to you.
Good thing.
We give you the bullshit, we give you what you want, but then we give you what you need. If you unwrap and unravel, once you get past the title and once you get past a couple of minutes of the, the shits and giggles that y'all want, there's some valuable information instilled in, whether we're doing it together or whether we have the pleasure of having an interview. You're going to get some real valuable information that you're not going to get and see anywhere else but here. And if you do hear it anywhere else, they got it from here. So
it's funny to me, bro. Like, this dude is a guy who did movies, who does movies, does TV shows. And anytime you're looking at a movie trailer, what are they giving you? Something juicy to get you to watch the movie. A TV show. They give you a little snippet of something to where you can come in and you can watch it. That's the way that this thing works. So I do get the one aspect of it, what he's saying, be careful in what you say. And that's on the side of like incriminating stuff.
Right.
But as far as like trying to get a juicy moment, that's what people was looking for. Any major brand, any major podcast, right? You bringing them on the show, to talk about life and to talk about things, but to talk about some shit that popped off, some shit that happened, to get their perspective on it. And that's what you guys are clicking. That's any major interview. Go look on YouTube, or Google and type it in. They're going to get you right to the juicy moment. They're going to embellish it till you go right to the juicy moment. Don't mean that the whole thing is going to be about, that moment, but that's to get you, to draw you in. So, that's just business. If we were to do it, you got some people who can just do it a certain way and people want to come in and watch it. But in other aspects of it, people have to do it a certain way. For example, Drink Champs, they put somebody on there, they put the whole interview up, right? Boom. You're going to watch it. Vlad, he'll cut an interview up and talk about, when this person sold 100 kilos, or this person stabbed his mother or something like that. It could be consumed either way, but people just got different ways of doing it. It just seems like in this industry, more people are going to do the latter and sell you a lot more of the bullshit because you want to watch. Look at World Star. How did they get so famous? people clicking on fights and people getting their hair burned and doing challenges and TikTok and all these things got famous and popular because of nonsense. That's the big knock on that was the big knock and still is on something like World Star. It grew off of violence, destruction, all types of degradative shit of black people. Mostly other people too,
right,
but mainly of black people. World Star, boom, knock somebody out. So that's how I feel about it, man. Stop. Come on, dog. You do movies at the end of the day. So what are you saying?
That's a great point. And I don't know if I like where the podcast game has definitely shifted over the last few years. You got podcast
talk about it.
beefs now. Everybody and their mama thinking they could podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mama thinking the shit's easy. They get a few episodes in, they get a big head. You know what I mean? Not understanding the real work that puts in. Not everybody, because there are people who genuinely like what they see, are motivated and inspired by people that are doing this and are successful from it and want to try it because they got the gift for it. Okay, cool. But there's a lot of people that don't. They think it's easy and they're out here just doing it for the bullshit. And when it's so watered down and you got it's every goddamn where. Now you got this disconnect between the people who are supposed to deliver the interview and the people who are supposed to give the interview, if that makes sense. You got this separation because now everybody wants to be the person behind the microphone giving the narrative as opposed to being that power forward to a dope point guard and let him deliver it so that you can bring that shit home and bring beauty to it. That's why we loved the radio back in the day.
Yeah.
Because we had our DJ and we had our personalities who we got to know and enjoy, and we can hear them conversate, but then when they brought an artist in, we got to hear that artist's side and get a different variety of it. We didn't always get to hear our people. They just delivered this person. And now everybody want to get behind a microphone and give their own narrative. And it's watering it down.
Yeah.
It's watering it down, and it's making it a lot less consumable and a lot less enjoyable to be in. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that we're going to get out of it by no stretch. We still got a lot of work to do, but that's just the facts, man. It's not the same, man.
And then let's talk about it's not really money in it like you think it is. And I'm going to break this down. Right? Somebody sitting at home, right? You want to come in, you want to get into a podcast tomorrow, right? You're not no celebrity. You don't have no following. Be ready to put in some real man hours of work, thousands of hours of content, thousands of hours of work editing before you start seeing some money. Now, I'm not trying to discourage anyone because some people can pop faster than others. Yeah. But if you think you're going to come in here and be Gilly and Wallow tomorrow, or us tomorrow, or a Drink Champs tomorrow, you got another thing coming. Those ads ain't paying like that. YouTube, you got to get 1,000 subscribers first, and like how much watch time?
4,000.
4,000 watch time minutes before you even considered hours before you even considered for monetization. Instagram ain't paying like that. They say TikTok is paying like that, but even then, it's the criteria that you have to got to put in work first. And you see people coming in it, and a lot of people ain't really making money like this in this game. Trust me, even your celebrities, the podcast, they ain't really eating like that. Trust and believe, because in order to be eating, if nobody's putting no money up, you got to be doing some numbers. Yeah. There's no way around it. If nobody's putting money up, you don't have sponsors, you ain't selling merch, and how you going to sell merch and how you going to get sponsors when you ain't got no audience? How? Unless somebody just dumb putting money behind you, and eventually that's going to stop. You got to do the numbers. You got to put the work in to see some money. So not to discourage people, it's just like when you're getting behind the wheel of a car as a youngster, you got to know what the hell you're getting into. You could die. Yep. You might not, but you could die. So you got to know. You jump in water with the sharks when you're going into this shit. And you got to understand, the ecosystem when you get in this shit. And it ain't as easy as people think it is.
At all. And the people don't even understand what a podcast is.
Yeah, talk about that.
They don't understand. If you're not connected to a Podbean, a Buzzsprout, and these are independent platforms that distribute your podcast to the iTunes, Spotify's, Google Plays, and other podcast networks. If you're not connected to one of them, how are you disseminating and distributing your content? You're just doing it, and it's sitting there. YouTube, okay, you can have the visual, but that you're content creating. You're not actually podcasting. Podcasting is getting behind a microphone and somebody hearing an audio version of your content, of your show, whatever the case may be. So if you're not connected to one of them, then you're not really doing it. And if you are connected to one of them, you also understand that costs money. You got to invest in that kind of stuff. Yep. And you got to invest monthly without making any monetary value because you're still establishing and building it.
Yep.
You're losing at first. Are you ready to lose? How long are you willing to lose before you take any real value out of it how invested are you in this game for real? You see so many people go out because they got a couple dollars, they buy some mics, they see lights, it looks cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They could finally be their favorite radio or personality or whatever the fuck. They realize it ain't no bread in it, or somebody else, one of your co-hosts aren't invested, whatever the case, and the shit don't work out. But you got a podcast. And something that was so dope and still is dope. It's such a powerful tool for independents to get behind here if taken seriously and be able to do this. It's such a blessing to be in the top 200 of hip hop iTunes and to say that we've been there before and say that we've been there consistently when we are two independent brothers that have no affiliation with anybody, no battle rap, no radio, no hip hop, none of that. And that's no disrespect to any of them. Salute to all of them. Came from the dirt. So it can happen, but you got to be willing to put in work like you never believed without any money coming back before you see anything real. So you better be ready.
Remember, I put up a little a screenshot of us 4 years ago.
Oh, man.
And if you look at that video, it had 200 views on it. You know what I mean? And you got to be willing to really start there, starting with 50 views, starting with 100 views. Sometimes you put it up 2 hours, go past, it's 3 views.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to, endure that. But it's a journey, man.